not. Or, for example, if you miss a cube because you don't think you're good enough and you do that 3 times in a row, that's 3 major errors. And as we all know, a cube error hurts you a lot more than, most of the time it hurts you a lot more than a checker error. A small mental error on the cube will cost you more PR and equity than a small mental error on the checker play. All right, they're starting. Zdenek's at the top. This is really exciting. The winner again will go and play Sander in the finals in Copenhagen in December. Double six is a huge equity gain early in the game for Zdenek. I have a whole lesson that I give on how you play it right after double sixes, because most of us mess it up. There's a lot, it's tricky how to do that. Whether you slot, whether you hit, whether you leave shots. Most people try to play too safe. They end up stacking too much and leaving shots later after your opponent has made some points. All right, Mochy's double one, the 5-point seems natural, but coming up and making a higher anchor seems to be better, because your opponent has escaped. You can always make the 5-point later. And of course, Mochy makes the right play. Yeah, 5-2. Do you volunteer? Do you stack? These are not easy plays. And here you're supposed to run. You're up in the race, you run. Now's a good time to leave that shot if you get hit. There aren't that many rolls that hit and cover LeBlanc. I know a lot of people love seeing that XG feed, and a lot of people are not being spoiled by knowing what's right. This is the right play by a lot. I kind of like not knowing and finding out later. Actually, the ideal for me would be to find out a minute later or a couple minutes later or after the play. It's a pretty simple play. Now the one I like, yeah, I like 8-7 because it's one more builder, really. It's an extra builder, more useful on the 7-point than the 8-point, because you might just use the checker to break the 8-point, especially if you're going to hit and point later. Oh, too much of a good thing is too much. But if he doesn't get hit here, with that huge racing lead, it's not as huge as it was anymore. It's still pretty big. The race is pretty well decided. If Zdenek doesn't leave a shot and get hit, he's probably going to win this race. So we may see some cube action. I certainly would start thinking about it now. I've been waiting for you, Justin.
I have a match in half an hour. They asked me to come in for the meantime.
Yeah. Why not have a half an hour of intelligence on the stream instead of none? Justin Knoll is joining me. He can only stay about a half an hour because he's got a match. But I love his insights. One of my favorite commentators, one of my favorite opponents, and one of my favorite friends. Get in more. You can see you're not in the picture. So this is the first game, and Zdenek has had 2 double sixes. So my guess is he's up in the race.
My guess is he played them well as well.
Well, I think both of them played well, and as you can see on the screen, it's not a double because it's just too brittle. There's just too many ways for Zdenek to leave a shot at this point. But the main reason it's not a double is what? There's no market losers. Very few rolls where on the next roll Mochy would pass, and that's the key. If you know your opponent is taking, the number one reason you would ever double is if you're likely to lose your market. John O'Hagan came up with a formula that says if your net is 25% market losers, that's probably right to double at a normal match score like this, which normal means it's like a money game, take points and gammon values. And I love John O'Hagan's, when you can apply it, it's great. And if you have trouble applying it, there's a feature in Extreme Gammon called dice distribution that actually shows you how many market losers you have and what they are. This is a very aggressive cube, according to XG.
Yeah.
I certainly can understand why he would do it. What are your thoughts, Justin?
Easy take.
Easy take, and you're not gonna scare a guy named Mochy too easily.
And if the take is that easy, the question is really of the cube, right? So.
Well, we know it was a wrong cube just from looking at XG, but if I didn't see XG there, I wouldn't know it was that big an error. I was thinking about the cube too.
Sometimes if you're not sure and you look at it from the other guy's perspective and you see how easy the take is, then the question sometimes really is just, is this a double? The flexibility was a bit off. I mean, obviously ZZ cubed it, so we thought it was a cube, and we have the benefit of the XG analysis in front of us, which I plan to cover or at least obscure.
Mm-hmm. I promise you that Zdenek doubled only for one reason, and that's because he thought it was a double.
Yeah, of course. You don't want to start doing things outside of the box now that you've made it to the finals in a PR match against Mochy. He thought it was a cube. That's why he cubed it, right?
That's exactly right.
You're not going to start deviating now.
I even asked him before the match, "What's your plan?" He said, "My plan is to play well."
Yeah.
I said, "That's ridiculous. I have another idea for you." And he put his headphones on before I could tell him. So,
Phil, that's the second time you've said that joke this stream, and it just started. I was listening on my walk
you
here.
were. I didn't know you. See, I didn't know you were listening. I didn't know you. It's not a joke, by the way. That's what happened.
Wait, that really happened. He put his headphones on.
Oh yeah,
And walked away.
he did. He did. Well, he didn't walk away. He was sitting, but
Seems like sound advice.
to put your headphones on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, they did not allow regular headphones, but you can wear noise blockers.
People have been using headphones the entire time.
Yeah, but they're only for noise blocking. You weren't allowed to have a connection to the internet with your headphones.
Well, how do you play music through headphones without a connection to the internet?
You don't off of your phone.
Okay. So
You could have a Bluetooth connection to your phone and not be on the internet.
Oh, okay. So if the music was already on your
Not
phone.
that there was any concern. This is not chess. We have all honest people here. You've heard about the chess scandals. We don't have that in backgammon. Nobody ever cheats at backgammon. But certainly at this level, that's not even a concern with these players.
No. My question is what are you listening to?
Yeah.
Come to find out, it's a combination of 80s pop music and death metal for most of them.
Okay, let's focus on this. Mochy is down quite a few pips. He has one goal, is to try and get a shot and hit it. I don't think Gammon's as much of a risk, and he ran to preserve his board.
Yeah, he didn't want to get stuck in a spot where he accidentally rolled 3-1 next roll and had to break his board.
Or double threes, yeah.
Or double threes, yeah. Or double twos.
Okay, see, Zdenek did not think he has many gammons, so he wasn't concerned about taking checkers off. He had one concern, bearing off without leaving a shot, because he's not worried about the race. So that's why you make plays like the last one he made. So do you break your board, meaning that when you get the shot, you don't have as much chance to win? Or do you give up?
I think you have to stick around, right? It's you don't really lose any gammons, and I don't know how many races you win by running, so I would stick around for the 6-5 if I could,
I see the logic, and so does Mochy.
Is it right?
I didn't look.
Okay.
But I would have stayed also.
Yeah.
You put a water bottle in front of the XG feed, which I like. I'd rather make a fool of myself
Yeah, I don't mind.
than pretend to be an expert watching XG and saying what XG says. That's Mochy's approach too, when he's doing commentating. I like that. I'm a half a ply and Mochy's 4 plies. That's the difference. Well, Don't see much else there. I don't think you just stack the one.
Yeah, there's more shot leaving numbers now. Okay, 4-1's a great shake.
How do you play it though?
Well, I would take 2 off.
Really? And I'm clearing.
The reason why I would take 2 off is because he has to run with all of his 6s and 5s next roll anyway. And so generally when he has that many numbers that are going to force him to run, I would play a bit more aggressively and just take the checkers off. Because he's going to be forced to run most
But when he doesn't run and I roll a 2 next time, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like what if he rolls like 3-2 and then you just get closer to the fluke gammon, you know?
There's no fluke gammon here.
Well, there could have been.
There could have been. Now it's gin, no gammon. Any roll and Zdenek is off.
Mm-hmm.
Claim, they both realize that too. No chance for a gammon. Unless he misplays it and doesn't take a checker out. That's why I don't make a claim when I'm in the chouette. I don't take anything for granted.
Okay, so Zdenek Zizka's playing to 2.7 because of the cube, and Mochy's at a 0.7, which is pretty good. Pretty good.
It's better perspective. If your name is Mochy, it's ho-hum.
Average.
Ho-hum. If your name is anybody else.
Down and split.
Yeah, generally speaking, if I hit with the 6, I split. If I hit with the 1, I come down.
The 5 comes in and the 1 hits, I believe.
Yep. In the early game, can I hit, can I make a point, or can I play strategically in that order? Hit 2,
5-3 is
hit 2, hit 2, yes.
Oh, Mochy rolls the 5, okay. It comes with a 6, but the 5 is most welcome.
There's no cube yet. It's too soon. That's a good roll to anchor and make a point. I like that. The word "and" means you've done something really good. You can hit and cover, or hit and make a point, or come in and hit. Double 3s. Well, you're unstacking.
Yeah, you can make the 4 and the 3.
I think my first thought is to unstack and make the 3-point. Get all those checkers off the 6. In the early game, unstacking is one of our goals, and also getting the back checkers moving is a major goal.
It's just efficient, you know. Now, White has to really be concerned about the contact when he's outboarded 3-1.
All I know for sure is I'm making the 3. The rest of it, I'm guessing.
Well, I just don't see a better use of the other 3s than making the 4.
You could go come out or go come down.
Yeah, but it doesn't really strengthen anything.
Okay.
Make the 4-point.
Well, there's an argument to make the 9-point.
But then what do you do with the 2?
Slot.
Okay.
That's what he's looking at.
Yeah.
So I know the 2. That's what I would do. I would play 6-4 and then think about it. I like this.
Yeah, it seems okay. I would personally make the 4 because then if he hits you with the 4, you know, there's at least some teeth in your board to fight back with if you hit him back. But
well, Mochy agrees with you, so even if it's wrong, it can't be too wrong.
Four, what a shot.
Well, they both have each other's 5-point. Quite a bit difference when you also have the ace point. So I wouldn't call these identical positions. They're similar positions at all.
I wouldn't come in on the 24 and make the 8, I don't think. I think I would just come in on the 20 and play like 8-7. Having 3 guys on the 24 scares me a bit. I don't really like it. Just anytime I put 3 checkers on the 24 point, it makes me feel weird, especially when I have an option to not do it.
It also gets you the cube faster.
Yeah.
I get double a lot more when I have 3 checkers on the 24. 3 or more.
And just play 13 or 11. Okay, coming out is probably fine as well.
One of my students told me why he put a fourth checker on the ace point. It's because I told him it's bad to have three.
Was that right? Doing that? Just coming
I
out to
don't
the
know.
18, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
You know, when you have 5 guys back, right? We're not worried about a 6 guy back. We know this,
The other
right?
child idea. I understand. I used that last night. I learned from you. All right. You're only up 58 pips in the race, so that's not the question.
You can make the 2.
I hate making the 2. I hate making low points like that, but it's probably right.
You can squeeze the guy a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just
Could be
seems
right.
like something that you're going to want to do against the eventual ace point game we're going to be playing against anyway. It's not like you can make the bar or some other better point.
I start thinking about the cube really faster when it's a 1-5 back game. I think it's such a lousy game.
It's a terrible game.
It's a terrible game, and if nothing exciting here happens while he's hitting.
Yeah.
He's hitting and continuing while I give him double shots outside.
Well, the reason why he's thinking about it is because he knows he has a double anchor game already, and so just being flexible is very important.
Huh. It's
one of those things you just start thinking about when you have 2 anchors.
See,
But he decided against it.
that was my play. I didn't like the doubles.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I didn't like double outfield hits here. I know it's about timing, but it's also about getting gammoned.
yeah. I mean, he chose not to do it for a reason.
He heard me.
Ooh, I don't know if that was the reason. Yeah, this is a bad.
Well, do you get off? Do you come off the 24? I would. I don't like to be on the 24 here. I don't like the 1-5 back game. I would come up.
You're just kind of dead.
There's still some checkers to bring
What's
around.
the race afterwards? 42 pips after the.
Yeah, it's huge. I still come off the 24. I don't want to play a 1-5 back game, and I find any excuse to get off of it that I can.
Yeah. I mean, there really isn't any other play that isn't destructive, So maybe you just go to the 4 and come up with both. I hate coming up with both, but I don't see anything else that's not destructive. And we can see that he hates coming up with both as well because he knows where he is in the race. But he can see how bad it is to do anything else, really.
I love this cube. I love this cube, whether it's right or not, because I don't like being doubled if I was Mochy here and he grabs it.
Was it a cube?
I don't know.
Yeah, I blocked it.
You can't see the XG feed. I kind of like that. I like your approach.
The XG feed is for the players at home.
Candace, they can't see the pip count. The players are playing over a live board in a normal, it's a normal backgammon game. But these players don't need to see the pip count. They know. I promise you.
Yeah, they'll count it.
They'll count it, or they keep, maybe they're like Matt Cohn-Geyer and keep a running count.
I think Mochy does in these
I
instances.
think Mochy will know.
I know he does for sure,
Yeah.
actually.
I don't know how many people keep a running count. I know John O'Hagan and Matt Cohn-Geyer, and I'm sure our Benjamin always knows the count.
Nick Blazier does as well.
Nick does? That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also doesn't use chairs when he plays.
That's right, he stands.
Yeah.
That's intimidating because he's a big guy.
I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that standing stuff.
You don't have time for that?
Yeah. No, it's just too much.
Well, he's got a bad back.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense from the thing you told me where the P40 board saved his
The
life.
P40 board saved his life. You ask him, it's a true story.
Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a P40 board saved my life. There you go. A remix.
Uh-huh.
Big roll coming up here. Oh,
Ooh,
5-4.
5-4.
And the gammons are on the table.
Ooh, wow. Let me peek at the PRs. Mochy's still playing under
0.75.
Yeah, I guess he had a take there.
Apparently. Apparently.
Yeah. This is about as high as PR is, I've seen it with, for Zdenek the whole week. He's amazing. He's been playing like an animal.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets the opportunity to look at the match before the next one starts, he'll have the opportunity to adjust his mental settings for the early cues. I think it's important to look at the matches in between each match, just to kind of see where your head's at on that day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're calibrated correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Because his settings are a little bit off when it comes to the cubes that on match one of the finals, so he's got to correct that. Yeah, I like the switch. You got to get them off there. You don't want them making a second point in your board. That would just be...
Which second point are you more afraid of, the 2 point or the 1 point? Because there's an argument to make the
you win
ace.
You win more games from the ace point, but you get gammon more from the ace point as well. You get shots sooner from the deuce point. If I have the 5 point, the 5 deuce game is actually much better than a 5-1 game.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah.
No, it's probably better to cover the ace, actually.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it's probably better to cover the ace.
Because you get more shots in the long run off the ace.
Well, you also get more covers of the 3 point from your builders on the 7, 8, and 9 than you do if the blot is on the 1 point, right?
That's right. Remember, when you're blitzing, and this is a blitz, you don't necessarily need to make your points in order. What Justin just said is key. If you have more builders for higher points, making the ace and the deuce might be better than making the 3 or the 4.
Sometimes you bring your builders to your blots, and sometimes you move your points around, and then the builders actually get there. You know, you see those switching plays in your board sometimes, where you switch from 5 to 2 because your builders on the outside to make the points would actually stack on each other. Do some shifting stuff.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling I'm following you.
All right, well, maybe it's early.
That's no excuse for me.
It's an excuse for me. I'm using it because who knows how my English is doing this morning.
Oh, you're doing fine. I think they're great insights. Keep it up. I wish you. Why don't you forfeit your match and stay here? This is more fun.
Yeah, great equity there.
What's
forfeit that match.
What's your record in the?
I'm playing Fuat right. You know, in my next match.
Oh,
the man
wow.
who runs the tournament on his digital board. You know.
Yeah. You got no chance.
Yeah, of course.
I'll take Fuad even for $1. Okay, we got a bet. I love Fuad. He's the sweetest guy in the world.
Very nice guy.
The thing I like most about him is he doesn't speak English. We get along so well.
Because he can't understand you.
And I don't understand him. All we do is smile at each other. It's really nice.
Oh, wow. No. Yeah, I don't.
Look how long he's taking on this play. And
well, he knows
are the differences very great between the plays? Yeah, no, they're not terribly great. I just cheated and looked at XG. But he wants to get it right. That's why Zdenek is a great player. And same for Mochy, all these great players. They just want to get it right. But there's only so much time I want to use on my clock on the second game of the match.
You know, based on what he saw of Zdenek Zizka's play earlier in the tournament, he knows he can't afford to make mistakes.
You certainly can't afford to make blunders.
Definitely not.
But even a mistake, you might be right. Big roll.
Also, if you know the guy's going to roll double ones, cover the 1 point.
Didn't I say that?
Yeah, of course.
That was a big roll. Not just for saving gammons, because you still probably don't save a gammon unless you hit a shot with that many checkers back. But you win some games from now.
Wow.
That was a big roll for Mochy.
Yeah, you just got to come out, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the slot.
Okay. I would just.
I would have slotted. I'm not afraid of getting hit with that blot.
Oh, look at the hit.
I have no idea what's right, but I would have slotted there.
Look at the hit and cover.
That's beautiful. That's excellent. You don't want to
now we have to
start worrying about crashing. You want to love him. He's happy to get out there. It's a good roll for Z. There's a timing thing going on. That's why he's thinking about whether to hit or not.
Yeah, you
I hit first and think later. Maybe that's my problem.
What's the number here? 1, 2?
You know, the saying, ready, fire, aim, that's me. He would have loved, oh, this is good. Making the 3-point is down good. He'd like to make the 7, but the 3 is a very, very big asset right now. He's starting to have a strong board.
6-5, okay.
Pretty hard to go forward from a 1-5 game though, with 3 checkers on the 24.
So 1s and 5-2.
He needs to come up. He needs 4s.
The ace, strong. Now he needs to,
He needs 4s.
or 3s would be good as well.
3s and 4, well, that's true. Wants to get off that 24.
1-4. This is not so good for green,
Yeah.
or as you like to call it, black.
Yeah. See, I told you what a good game the 1-5 is. He's playing it very effectively.
Okay, at least that comes out without crunching.
Yeah.
This is a big roll for green.
Mochi's going to prove us wrong that the 1-5 backgammon can work.
He could break right now. Oh, 1-5. What a shot. Just come out.
Yep.
That was big.
That was big because you're starting to get into cracking territory for Mochi. See, he really would like to use that 4 to come up, and that's what he was thinking about. But you got to hit. You can't just let him go. Oh, big roll. Big roll. Zdenek has had a few really good rolls, really big rolls that kept him from crunching.
Ooh, the 1-5 this way with 4 guys there. Really? Is that the... Yeah, I guess so. Oh, man. It just hurts my soul to put that many guys on the 24 line. I guess you just can't let them get away. And what's this number?
6
Okay.
is not good.
No, the 6 is impaired. I mean, it's
Yeah.
better. It's better than crunching.
Yeah.
It's better than crunching.
Yeah. That's like saying when a guy broke his arm, you're lucky he didn't break 2.
Yeah, but it's better to break 2. I still am. I'm still of the feeling that it's still better to break 1 than 2.
Probably, but it's better not to break either. It would have been nice if Mochi did not have to run with the 6 and could have gotten off the ace. I think we're starting to see why.
He could have stayed in bed, you know?
Yeah, right. And no choice. You got to play the roles you get. Okay, that's a good point. But this is starting to show us why that 1-5 game is still bad.
I think you got to switch. You can't let him make the bar, and if he dances, you got a chance to come out. So
I think the switch is automatic.
Yeah, but he's considering it, you know. So
Well, it's either switch or hit loose.
no, I'm not going to hit loose. His
I
board's too strong. You just get
don't
gammoned
know.
way too
You're
much.
getting gammoned anyway a lot.
Nah, not if he fans here. Maybe you roll a 6 and you can win, you know.
I'd rather roll double 3s. If I'm Mochi on my next roll.
I'll take any 6 or 3. I'll be very
Okay.
happy.
Ha! He heard me.
Uh-oh.
That's my play. That's my play. I'd like to have a stronger board.
Just don't want to get hit.
Get hit, I can roll and I can roll a 4-3. And I wouldn't know how to play it. Do I hit or make the, I guess you make the anchor. No, you hit with 4-3. See, that's what you have to think about. What happens if you get hit? What happens if you don't get hit? That's what MCV is all about, those common variations.
I just want a fan. And then I want to roll
Oh,
6.
3s and 6s.
That's the wrong 6.
Wrong 6. Well, yeah, there's fewer shots if he stays on the 8. Why does he go there? I don't know.
Well, he's got good 6s and 3s. He's got good, now he really needs that 6.
6 is huge here.
Oh, he threw it in the tray.
Oh, God.
He only wants to re-roll one of them. 3 and a 6. That's
Oh,
even better. That's an upgrade, actually.
Wow.
24, 21.
Wow, that's a joker. A dance here, and we might see some action. In fact, we will see some action.
No way he did. Oh.
Yeah, I'm doubling. I hit with 5s and 2s,
Wow.
come out with 3s and 6s. I just named 4 different numbers. that are good, 3, 6, 5, 2. That's a real indicator that you've got some
Got 3 guys on the 20.
robustness.
4 point. Yeah, robustness.
I'm
Yeah.
doubling, I'm redoubling here.
I mean, probably, but wow.
I ask yourself, are you taking this? And ask yourself, would you like to get this cube if you're Z? I wouldn't love to see this cube. It might be a take, but I sure would hate to see it.
Okay. Oh, man. Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
doubling. I'm
Yeah.
doubling.
I'm with you.
Okay, now are you taking?
Because it's the recube as well, the 4. It's
Yeah.
not like it's
Yeah.
not like
And now that Mochi's losing 2-0. That's another reason to recube.
There's 2 other blots out there. Yeah.
Are you taking is my question.
I guess the more I look at it, the worse it gets.
Okay, if you're not sure you're taking, then there should have been no problem doubling. That's Woolsey's law. Thank you, Mr. Woolsey.
It just feels so strange. I still have 3 checkers on the 24, you know. But the more I look at it, the worse it gets.
Well, I think the reason I saw it faster than you is I'm more carefree than you are. I do more knee-jerk thinking. But because I do that, if I'm over the board, I will instantly say, I want to double here, but I'll certainly think about it before I give the cube, which is exactly what Mochi's doing. Even if I'm fairly sure, but I like to have a knee-jerk reaction first. I don't think that hurts. Because at least 20% of the time, my knee-jerk reaction is right.
I don't even think he can take this, actually. It's just too valuable, the gammons. It's just like if he loses the gammon here, it's just done, right?
Yeah,
So,
good double. And a boy Mochi.
he takes a long time to think about these. I've noticed this, like, even if it's 100% clear to him, I think almost immediately, he still might take 30 seconds to cube you. I think he's doing something there, like
What is he doing?
like playing a game with you almost.
Hmm.
I really think so.
You think he is playing games?
I think, well, we know for sure he is. I'm watching him play one, but like, I really think he is.
Against Zdenek, he's playing a game? Against me, he'll play a game. I understand that.
No,
I advocate doing that, but not at this level.
I think he does it. I think he just kind of just.
You don't think he was unsure of the cube, do you?
Do I think he was unsure
Yeah.
of the cube?
So you're saying he just took a long time anyway because he's trying to psych Zdenek into taking?
Maybe he goes through like a full sequence in his head of like his roles and their roles, even though he might still be sure. And that's why it takes a while, but like yeah.
Wow. Well,
I think it induces doubt. You know, if somebody takes so long for what you think might be an obvious cube, then maybe it's a take, right?
I've preached what you're saying for years, but I preach that because of the likelihood of your opponent to make a mistake. That likelihood goes way down when you're playing a giant.
Good, I'm glad ZZ passed that one.
I wonder what, I want to see the XG.
Looks like he made a good decision. I don't think his PR moved.
I want to see.
It says pass. I'm looking at the old.
Oh, is it
here
pass?
on the other side.
Whew. Okay.
Big pass, 350.
Okay.
Wow.
So it was a huge double, and Mochi did take a long time, and if he was playing speed gammon, he still would have gotten it right.
Yeah.
Wow.
He wouldn't have had the time to think about
I
it.
like what you're saying about what he's doing, but I just can't
You're not
believe.
convinced?
I'm not convinced he's doing it to do a number on Z or Dirk or anybody of that caliber. He must, maybe you're just being careful, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. Just take your time because it's important.
I got to go to my match, Phil.
Well, I wish you the best of luck
Thank you.
and get your butt back here as soon as you can because I need you. I need some intelligent discussion on this.
I also want to watch the match, you know?
Yeah, well, keep it on your phone while you play. It's my best recommendation.
There you go. That'll help my equity.
They might even help your game. Just do what Mochi does and what Z does. Okay, are they taking a little break here?
Little siesta.
Yeah, good for them. All right, you can look at the PRs. You can see that Mochi is playing at 1.2. Zdenek is uncharacteristically playing higher, but as we know, early in the match, PRs can be very high and still end up playing under 2, sometimes under 1. A lot of match to go. Okay, they're getting ready to go again. That's exactly how I play a 3-1. I make the 5 point. This is exactly how I play a double 3. Although sometimes I do play 6 to 3. And I think it's close. And I'm going to find out how to play 6-1 for Mochy. Coming out 6 to 5. That's my play. That's my play. And I said it before Mochy played it. Oh, great roll. Hit and make the point and make another point. Now, there is an argument for coming out, but when you've got a checker on the bar, making an inside point and unstacking your 6 point are two good reasons to do that. We have a dance. Dice on checkers are good here. The United States fought like crazy. People argued against it and for it for a long time, and now it's pretty much the standard. All right. After a dance, if I see my opponent slouch in the chair, it's a double. But you're not going to see Mochy slouch in the chair. You're not going to get any read out of Mochy whatsoever. But he did double. I like this double. It's aggressive. I'm not sure I would double because I'm sure I'm taking. Then I have to still look at market losers. Mochy did take. I wasn't sure about that double at all. Zdenek gave a cube earlier that wasn't a double. So he's being very aggressive with the cube this match. Maybe that's his strategy. Get that cube up. Excellent roll. Now, do you leave the 7 point slotted? I don't know. I really don't know. With that anchor, you might take that chance because if you don't get hit with that 6, you've got a monster game. Zdenek is playing it safer. I don't like this. I leave it slotted. I gamble on the 6. I don't know if I'm right, but that would be my play. Make the point. What else? Besides making the 4, I don't see too many alternatives here. I'm sorry, making the 3 point. I guess 13-8 is an alternative. Not one that I like. Not bad to have an extra spare there. You'd rather make your 7 point and not lose your builders. Okay, 5-3. Okay, you run. He's way, way up in the race. That's why he's running. And he's got him outboarded, so he's not that much afraid of getting into a hitting battle. He hits back now. He's pretty much gin in the game. You're never gin in the game, but it's big. And that's why he ran. Even if he got hit, he's got a good chance to stay in this game. If he didn't hit back there, he could get into trouble. So that 4 was really big for Zdenek. But if he came in just with a 1 or a 2, he's still in pretty decent shape. Coming in is good. Look how quickly he played that 5 because you don't want to get in there. Give him a good 6 to hit you, and you start thinking about getting gammoned here, and he would have been hit. But that's hindsight. A 3 would be very helpful, and they got it. And the 5, do you slot or do you go to the 3 point? I think those are your two choices. Oh, you don't slot, you come in. I'm sorry. You come in or go to the 3. Yeah, why not? Keep your point. Ooh, I don't like this. Mr. Woolsey taught me to keep that midpoint. He was way ahead of his time in 1993 when he wrote that article. The reason I'm so familiar with it is I've given it to all my students. So I see that article over and over again, and I can remember something that I've seen over and over again. You don't give up the midpoint. And he did. Must be right, or not too bad. Okay, this is not a pleasant situation for Mochy to be in. Oh, 2-1. I think This is exciting. This is very exciting. You make the anchor because hitting, you have too many shots back where he either hits you on the 4-point or he hits you on the 2-point. The other option was to come in on the ace and safety, but then you got no game at all. A 1-2 untimed backgammon is not a great game, but I think it beats the alternative. He's looking at it. He's looking at it. Wow, this is not on my list. I don't think it's, I think this is the play. I'll try and check comments, see what you guys think. Okay, he hit. Wow, quite a blunder. That's going to sting the PR a little bit. So here he is, the number one, unquestionably the number one player in the world, although a lot of people think Sander might be there too. It's close. That makes a big blunder. That's what backgammon is all about. It's not that easy a game. Mochy's getting right back in the game because of that wonderful blunder he made, because it worked. That makes it right, doesn't it? I think the 1 is automatic. And you look for the 5. It's not unreasonable to think about a redouble here. It's always reasonable to think about it, by the way, no matter what. Do you? Yep. You don't just stack them up. You gotta have some kind of game. Double 3s is a dance. Every roll is a cube decision. I like that saying. You always stop and think about it. Wow. Do you make the 18? You make the 18, you don't get hit here, and you definitely have a recube. And you don't get hit here. Now the recube I love, except I don't think it can be too good because you're not picking up another checker unless you hit loose or point on the 2. I don't think it's too good, and neither did Mochy. Oh, XG does, but very tiny. It's really on the borderline of too good. I mean, obviously, it's a huge pass. That hit by Mochy that was wrong turned the whole game around because it worked. And just as often you make the right play and it doesn't work. So that's the randomness of the dice. Some people resent backgammon. They say there's too much luck, and once in a while you play bad and it works, and sometimes you play good and it doesn't. But in the long run, the more you play good, the more it's going to work. So I think Mochy got a little lucky with that play, the hitting play that was a blunder, because it worked so well and Zdenek danced so much. And of course, 6-5 and a dance here was also a very big sequence for Mochy. Okay, Z is thinking long and hard about a cube that's too good to double. And it would be a 300 blunder to take this cube. So I would give strong odds that he's going to pass it, just because I can see how big a problem it is. How does he win this game? He's got to anchor, get a shot. Yeah, he passed. Very good. And again, there's nothing wrong with taking your time when you've got it to make sure you're doing the right thing. They're both doing that in some plays and cube situations that we think is obvious. But they're taking a lot more time on cubes. That's where you really can swing more than anything else. A lot of people have said, what's more important, being good at the cube or being good at checker play? And my answer is, darn if I know. You have a lot more checker plays, but the cube action is bigger, so I think it evens out. And it depends on the type of game you're playing. I know that in the chouette, I'd rather be strong at the cube and know who to cube and when to take and when to drop based on their skill. There's a lot more factors in there. In a match, I really don't know which is more important. Come on, anybody, what do you think? If you had your choice to be the best in the world at the cube or the best in the world at checker play, which would you prefer to be? I have to take throat lozenges to try to stop coughing. I love turkey, but I've got one problem. There's a lot of smokers here, and there's smoke in the air everywhere, and I've got asthma, and that's why I have to apologize for my coughing and a little bit of a sore throat sound. I haven't been around this much smoke in the United States. I was recently in New York, and I smelled a different kind of smoke on the streets all the time. I was pretty amazed at the aroma in the air on the streets of New York, but it wasn't bothering my lungs like this. I used to smell chestnuts when I walked through New York. Now it's kind of drowned it out by another smell. Okay, that's a lovely play. Notice it isn't that important for him to make his 5-point when your opponent has escaped, but making the golden point is golden. Mochy is leading 3 away, 5 away, and a lot of people would be surprised that Mochy's take point is actually lower than Zdek's. Not by a lot, but Mochy could take a little bit deeper, except for assuming no gammons. Why is that? It's about match equity. It's about getting to Crawford or having a gammon that wins you the match, the gammon values. You really want to learn a lot about this? I would read Dirk Schieman's book. Gets into it in about as much detail as any book that's ever been written, I think. Okay, this is a mutual anchor games. The 20-point versus the 18-point anchor. I don't see how this can be much cube action for a while here. It's very brittle for both players to lead the shot. Double 6. Wow. We might see some cube action right away. As soon as I open my mouth, the whole thing changes. Wow. He's up 21 pips. At a normal score, this would be a double. But because you're winning, you might be a little bit more hesitant to give this cube. I mean, if it was a money game or 0-0, if I'm Mochy, I'm throwing the cube here. And of course, I'm taking. But at this score, I'm not sure. I am not sure. He's up 15 pips, which is almost exactly 15%, which is exactly where Grant Hoffman's rule of 4 comes into play. So maybe you hold here because of the score. Let's see, if you double, your recube take point is close to, I think, around 33%. He did double, okay, good. I think that's aggressive. I can't wait to see the evaluation on that double. It was a double, but just tiny, just barely a double. Yeah, so my not being sure is the right answer, but I have to tell you, I would have missed it. I would have waited. 0.016 error, not to double. So you certainly can't fault him for the double when it's correct by XG. Can I recommend a good backgammon book or website for advanced players? Well, a great website is Backgammon Galore, bkgm.com, with lots of tremendous articles. A great book, I think, If you're really advanced, you get Dirk's book. All of Beachy's books, all of Mark Olson's books are great. There's a lot of great books out there. One of my favorites, I consider to be the modern Bible, is Backgammon Boot Camp by Walter Trice. Answering a question on the in the comments here. Well, it turns out to be a pretty decent double. He's got a strong lead in this race. Of course, when I say that, Zdenek will start rolling doubles. Oh, there's the doubles. It was every double we've seen has been either a slight no double or a slight double. Very aggressive, or I think it was Zdenek's first double, I think was a blunder. Very aggressive cube action by both players. I wonder if that's a strategy that they came into this, or it just happened to be those kind of positions came up. I bet you money if we put them on a lie detector that they'll both tell you that when they doubled, they thought it was a double. They're trying to play correctly because PR is worth every bit as much as winning the match. You get a point if you win the match, and you get a point on PR. Zdenek is not out of this. One big double and he's right in the game. He's still there. Still within reach. He better get it soon, though. He better get it very soon. Big double. That's not a big double. And do you play to make double fours work or double fives work? I don't think you play 4 to 3 as you normally would. I'm sorry, play down low, because you have to play to make your doubles work. Because that's your only chance is rolling doubles. So make sure the doubles work. Rule number 1 in your bear off is look at the other side of the board first, because that's going to affect what you're doing. Look at that. Wow. Big, big swing. Mochy needs doubles? Nope. Wow. I told you it wasn't a cube. I told you so. Very exciting. 4 to 4, 3 away, 3 away. Okay, again, I start out every game figuring out what's happening at the score. The take points are 25% on both the initial cube and recubes. The gammon value when the cube is turned is 0.5. Because if you win a gammon, you're winning 1 point too much. And if you just win 2 points, you get to Crawford, which is pretty good. So that reduces the gammon value from being that high, even though it wins you the match. So you cube a little faster in a race here, but not faster because of gammons. When I say faster compared to money or normal match score, I always set the stage at the beginning. Out or down? Out or down? He's got 3 children back there, so a 4th child isn't going to hurt that much, and you want to do something to be offensive. Thank you, Justin, for that metaphor. And now, you make the anchor or do you make the 4-point? And here again, I go to Mr. Sylvester's advice about offense, offense, defense, defense. If you're in an offensive position, make an offensive play. If you're in a defensive position, tend to make a defensive play. And Mochy is clearly in a defensive position, making this play better, making the anchor better than making your own 4-point. Why is he in a defensive position? He's down in the race. He's got more checkers back. He looks like he could be attacked. This is clearly defensive. Let's say you're in a war. You're going to attack your opponent if he's stronger and he has more takes and troops, or are you going to dig in and build trenches and build up your defenses until you're stronger? It's the same as a war. You're fighting for territory. So after you make the 20-point, I'm not sure what you do. And obviously neither is Mochy, but he quickly made the 20-point first, and now he's looking. That's a pretty big play. Wow, the double shot. Now, Zdenek could have hit either one, but you'd rather hit the checker off the 5-point, not just because it cost him more pips. You don't want him to make the 5-point. This is not an easy 6 for me. The reason you might leave the shot and volunteer the shot is getting hit is actually not too bad. It might even be better. Okay, good cube. Activate the gammons. And, very good cube. Mochy grabbed it, and it was borderline. Borderline take pass. XG says pass by 0.02. Don't let that phase you. If Mochy took it that fast, the rollout might say it's a take. But again, he's aggressive. That was an aggressive take. And uncharacteristically, Mochy took about 2 seconds. He was very confident of that take. Even though extreme gammon isn't. That was it. I think that's interesting. Took a long time on a really huge double and took no time on a real close decision on the take. Could it be the time on the clock as a factor? I don't know. I can't figure out Mochy on how he uses his clock, so I'm not going to try and second guess him there. Somebody asked what time did they start with. It's a 7-point match, so they started with 14 minutes on the clock, 2 minutes per point, and a 12-second delay. In the preliminary rounds where they played on computers, they had 1 minute per match. They had 7 minutes to play a 7-point match because they didn't have to count pips and they made them play faster. We wanted to get more matches in. Now it's more important. We want to see the right decisions, so we're giving them more time. But this is standard time. This is the same time you would get in any major tournament, 2 points per minute. I'm an advocate of going to 1.5 points per minute. I think the matches are too slow. I think it's better for the spectators and it's more fun to play faster. Well, it's kind of hard to hit here with those two blots, but what else can you do? What's your game? You're running out of time, and very exciting play, and it's the right play. He certainly wants to hit here, and he hits him twice because he doesn't want him to anchor. Big roll for Mochy. He needs a 5. He got it. That was very big. Three or a 4 or a 5. 4 is pretty good. He would have liked a 3. He would like to hit. Mochy can cover the 3. He can come out and what? Okay. Courageous playing here. And really courageous cube play. Every borderline decision, they either took or gave the cube. Very bold playing. There's another reason to take the cube if you're not sure, if you think you can outplay your opponent, that you're going to have a positive equity on the checker play. I would bet that the checker play between these two, the difference is not that great. Can't be with the PRs that they have. Uh-oh. That is a terrible roll for Mochy. You lose your board, you lose all of your equity for your backgammon. See Z volunteering a shot, you wouldn't mind getting hit there at all. Might even help to get hit. Do you break the 8-point? 2-point board with a blot says trap. That's my flag that tells me I want to do trapping. Trapping meaning that I would leave a shot, want to force him off. I would love him to have to come out here if I'm Zdenek. I don't want him holding those 2 points for later. And Mochy fell for it. Is he thinking about coming off the 2? Why would you do that? You'd rather hold the lower point almost all the time. XG doesn't agree. Why? Why does XG say don't hit and come off? Fewer gammons, you get gammon less? How about 10% less? Wow. See, God is in the numbers. You have to look at those gammon numbers. That was the reason. You get gammon 10% less because it's easier to come off the 3-point later than the 2-point. You don't think about what play wins anymore. In this situation, you think about what's going to get me gammon least. And coming off the 23 was right, and Mochy realized it. I'm sure, absolutely sure, I would have played that wrong. I just have a habit of keeping the lower point and coming off the higher point, and I think most of us have that habit. I would have missed that. He's peeling aggressively, even though you leave more shots because your opponent has a lousy board, and you want to win those gammons. A gammon wins the match. Pretty exciting to win a gammon here and win the match. The PRs are getting pretty close. Right now, Mochy's got the edge, and if Zdenek wins this match, it's going to be 1-1 as it stands. But PR's one little mishap by either one could swing the PR. I think that's the most interesting part of this game right now. Who's going to win the PR battle? Take your time, get it right. One tiny little slip could swing the who's winning the PR. Wow. The gammon is absolutely assured. He's happy to roll a 4 there. He could have rolled a 2-1 and doubles and get 1, 2. He's going to be playing because double 6 does get him off the gammon. He's looking for a double 6 only. Ooh, got half of it. Gammon is lost. The match is over. And the PR, look how close that was.